You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away. Did you ever hear the story about that song?
Tell us the story.
Later.
Well, it turns out that this family had a little boy. He's about 3 or 4 years old, Benji, and they discovered that they were going to have another baby. And Mum was very much aware of sibling rivalry, so she went out of her way to introduce Benji to his new sibling. He said it was going to be a little girl. They said we didn't know, but Benji knew it was going to be a little girl. And she taught him to sing to his sibling.
In utero.
She taught her, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." And he would come up and put his arms around his mother and put his head against her tummy and would happily sing, "You are my sunshine." And of course, when it first started, it sounded like he was singing to her because there was no sign of the baby at this stage. But later on, and in the supermarket, lined up at the checkout, and suddenly he put his arms around his mother and started singing, and everybody at the checkout.
That's lovely.
Well, one day it happened that Benji went down and there was no sign of Mum or Dad, but Grandma was there. And she said, Mummy had to go to the hospital, Daddy's taken her, we'll find out a little bit more later. And Dad came home a bit later and sat him down and said, well, baby's not expected to come quite so soon and it's not well, it's not real good. And you were right, it was a little girl, but we're sorry. And eventually Mum came home, left the baby in the hospital, and home was different because he caught Mum crying quite regularly. Found her going into the room that they'd prepared for the little girl and coming out and crying some more. And then one day I overheard Dad talking to somebody called an undertaker and saying, yeah, we're not sure when, but probably before the weekend, and just with a little private ceremony, and he's trying to understand what's going on. But he announced at lunchtime, I want to see my sister. And they said, well, you can't. It's in the special ward at the hospital. No children are allowed in there at all. You won't be on. He says, I want to see my sister. And suddenly Mum said, well, he might get a chance to see his sister. I think he needs to. You go and have a sleep, and after lunch I'll take you. And so she took him to the hospital. Got to the ward, matron must have seen them coming. She's there with her hands on her hip, standing like she's 10 foot tall, and Mother grew herself out to be 12 foot tall and said, we are going in and you aren't getting in the way. Benji is going to see his little sister. And went in, and there's the humidity crib, and all the plexiglass and tubes hooked up and all the rest of them, this little baby just panting life away. And Benji said, can I sing to her? And I said, well, why not? And so with his arms over the top of the humidity crib, he started singing, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. And suddenly the nurse gave a scream. She was looking at the screen showing his pulse, and it was barely fibrillating, it was barely doing anything, and all of a sudden it gave a beat, and a beat, and a beat, and a beat. And then the breathing was only coming in little tiny pants, and all of a sudden she sighed and gave a big deep breath, and another one, and another one. They called over the ward for the doctors to come, and everybody turned up. They reckon it was the first time anybody had seen Matron smile, but she was standing there with a grin from ear to ear, and they realised that for a poor little baby just born into this world and hooked up with things into her arms and into her legs and nobody nursing or anything, and all of a sudden this horrible world became somewhere that she knew she was loved, because she heard a little brother singing again. You are my sunshine. And you know, when you think about it, before we were born, we were in God's mind, in his heart, and we have God's song inside of us all the time. And so often people try and fill that void with drugs and sex and grog and all the rest of it, and end up destroying their lives just waiting to hear that God song all over again. And I guess if God put it into a tune, he'd be singing "You Are My Sunshine."
Amen, amen.
Sunshine, my only sunshine, make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away.